It was late evening in a small city hospital where life moved between cries of pain and whispers of hope. Arav, a poor college student, worked there part-time delivering food to patients just to afford his tuition and meals. His clothes were simple, his shoes worn, and his eyes tired but honest. One evening, while he was helping an old man eat, his gaze fell upon a young nurse named Mira. She was standing near a child's bed, softly singing to calm the little one who was afraid of injections. Her calm voice and gentle smile filled the cold, sterile room with warmth. Arav stood quietly for a moment, watching her kindness with silent admiration. When Mira turned, their eyes met briefly, and she gave him a polite smile before hurrying away. A few minutes later, she dropped her small notebook while checking patient charts. Arav quickly picked it up and handed it to her. "You dropped this," he said, shyly avoiding her gaze. Mira smiled again and thanked him, her tone kind. Arav, trying to hide his nervousness, muttered, "Someone as kind as you deserves to smile more often." Mira looked at him, slightly surprised, then laughed softly and said, "That's sweet of you." For Arav, that little moment stayed in his heart. He didn't know who she really was. To him, she was just a nurse with a beautiful soul. But fate had written something far bigger for both of them. Days passed, and Arav couldn't stop thinking about Mira. He'd often see her walking down the hospital corridors, helping everyone with the same gentle care. His friends at college noticed he was distracted and teased him for it. One day, while sitting in the college courtyard, Arav confessed he liked a nurse from the hospital. His friends laughed, saying, "Come on, man, she's out of your league." But Arav wasn't the type to give up easily. The college's annual dance was coming up, and he thought, maybe if he asked her, she might agree. He rehearsed a dozen times, talking to himself in the mirror, trying to sound confident. When the sun began to set that day, painting the sky in gold and orange, Arav walked toward the hospital, his hands trembling and his heart pounding. He found Mira outside, standing near a tea stall, enjoying a quiet break after a long shift. He walked up to her nervously and said, "Hi, Mira." She smiled, surprised to see him outside of work. He scratched his head and blurted out, "Will you be my date to the dance?" The words came out faster than he meant them to, and for a moment, silence hung in the air. Mira stared at him, a little shocked, but then her lips curved into a soft smile. "Only if you promise not to step on my toes," she said with a playful tone. Arav laughed in relief, unable to believe she'd said yes. He had no idea that behind her simple uniform and modest life, she was the daughter of one of the city's richest CEOs. For her, Arav's innocence was a breath of fresh air. For him, she was a dream come true. The night of the dance arrived, and Arav stood at the entrance of the college hall, wearing his best, though old, shirt and shoes he had polished carefully. The crowd was buzzing with excitement and music filled the air. Then, a luxurious black limousine stopped outside the hall. Everyone turned their heads, whispering. The door opened, and Mira stepped out wearing a beautiful gown, glowing with grace. 2 bodyguards stood behind her, and cameras flashed. Arav's smile slowly faded as he realized she wasn't just an ordinary nurse. His classmates murmured, "That's Mira Kapoor, daughter of Rajesh Kapoor, the billionaire CEO." Arav's heart sank. He felt small, foolish for thinking he could ever belong in her world. But as everyone watched, Mira walked past the crowd, her eyes only on Arav. She stopped in front of him, ignoring the murmurs and whispers around. Taking his hand, she looked at him and said softly, "I told you I'd come, didn't I?" Her words silenced the room. In that moment, Arav understood that her kindness and heart were real, not defined by her family's wealth. He smiled, eyes glistening, as they walked together onto the dance floor. The music began to play, and as they moved together, it wasn't a poor boy and a rich girl anymore. It was just 2 hearts dancing, proving that love doesn't ask about status or wealth. It only asks for honesty and courage.